Hey everybody, just making a quick video. I just got home and reading my emails, and I had a bunch of emails on people wanting to know how I make some of these things. So I'm going to take two of them. Actually, one's going to be, you can make a bunch of things when I show you this, but the first one was these kaginawas that I made. Now unfortunately, I don't know any other way of doing this without having a welder. You can see this is just 1/4 inch round stock that was solid welded. It's about 4 inches. And I took all three of these pieces, put them all together in a triangle form, welded it, and then I heated each one of these when they were straight, and I bent them over a big piece of steel. Let's see if no, that's not it. But you can see down there I got a bunch of different sizes of round stock that I use for fixtures and bending things and stuff like that. So that's how I got that. You can, once you make a fixture, you can make a lot of different stuff out of it. Besides that, I just drilled a hole in the bottom, put a ring in there. I showed how to make these rings in the Fundo video, I think. Now there's this one. This one's a lot heavier duty. This is a 3/8 steel, and these are just, I sharpened these down to a point and then did an extreme. I didn't do a round over, I did an extreme bend. And underneath all this wrapping it's all solid welded underneath there. And then I got an eye bolt from I think it was Home Depot, I think. And I welded an eye bolt on there. So that's pretty much how to do those. The next thing is, and someone asked me, how do I make like the hand, the body part of the shuko? Now I have the luxury of working in a tool and die shop where I have a lot of steel and a lot of stuff that most normal people don't have. And one of the things that I made up, see if I can grab both of them. I only got one of them, but I made up, it's pretty much just a bending fixture. It's a piece of round pipe that I cut in half, and I welded it to a piece of square tubing, and that gives me a rough dimension to bend everything around. This one's for smaller hands, and I have one for for bigger hands. But that's pretty much how I make a lot of this. This is just a type of fist load weapon, whatever you want to call it. But if you don't have all that, what you're going to want to do, so I'll try and give you a short little explanation. So I got everything set up. I'm going to start working on that kanabo. I got all my rivets ready to go. I just got to start drilling. But anyways, for the body of it, you don't really need anything that heavy duty. I mean, you can if you want. But this is just 1.25 inch by 1/8 inch bar steel. You can buy 3/16. I made mine out of 3/16, but 1/8 inch is good. It's a lot easier to bend, especially if you don't have any type of heat source like large propane or an oxyacetylene torch. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to figure out the thickness of your hand, because that's the size that you're going to want to bend that radius to. You're going to want to do it a little bit bigger than your hand. So you're going to need to find something to bend it around, whether you have pipe laying around, something round that's durable. And what you're going to want to do is if you don't have a welder, then you're going to be cutting off a lot of scrap steel. But if you do have a welder, you're going to want to weld this to it, but weld it a couple inches back. So you're going to want to weld it right there, and then as you're heating it, you're going to bend this around. And then you're going to do the same thing over here. You're going to weld it and bend it around and get your size. Now if you don't have a welder, which I know a lot of people don't, that's not something people have in their garages, it's going to be a little bit more tedious, but it is possible because I have done it. You're going to want to do pretty much the same method, but it's going to be a lot of, you're going to want to put more than you need off to the end just in case, because you don't want to have this all bent up and you realize that, oh, it's too short and I'm not going to be able to close it up. But you're going to want to start, I don't know, I would say about 7-8 inches, and just find an area and just start bending. The best thing is, like I said, is to have something to use to bend something over. I showed him one of my videos, this piece that I made just from stuff at Home Depot. You can buy different size pipes, it's just a T-fitting. And this locks into my vise really nicely. But this gives me more than enough room to put this over. And you're going to want to just start, put a little bend in one section, and then move down a little bit. Put some more weight on it. Got stuff falling everywhere. So you're going to start making your bends. And slowly, once you get that, you can just freehand it. Like that. So there you go, you got one side. It's not going to be 100% perfect yet, but that's okay. The next thing you're going to want to do is take your hand and put it inside, and you're going to want to give yourself some room. More, a little bit, about a 1/4 inch on either side. Once you do that, find the center, draw a line, and cut that off. This end is done now. So now all you have to do is go back to this side, which is over here. This piece wouldn't be there, it'd be cut off right there, and bend that around, and then freehand it, in. It takes a little time, and like I said, you're going to have a lot of material that you're going to cut off that is going to be scrap, but I find I'd rather cut off a little bit more and waste a little bit of steel than go through an hour or two of trying to bend this and form it, and then realize that I bent this around and I got a 1-inch gap right there because I tried to save steel and I tried to make it perfect, when I should have just cut one side, and then when I bent this over, yeah, it's going to hang way over here, but I can then press it down and then cut it where I want, so it's going to be a nice fit. So best thing, get something round. This is, I think, 1.25 inch pipe. I know you could buy a lot larger pipe to bend stuff over. The steel that you're going to use for your hand guard, for the hand piece, you can use 1018, the stuff you buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. It doesn't need to be, highly durable or anything. For the spikes though, you can use that same round stock that you get there. It's not going to harden up as well. What you're going to want to do is find like a tool and die store or tool and die supply store and buy either drill blanks, which are made from a high carbon steel, or you're going to want to go online and try and find some steel. If you go to mcmastercar.com, they sell all different types of steel and all different grades. pretty decently priced. Unfortunately, you have to buy a long length of it, and I'm sure shipping is probably not the greatest, but it's one of the only places I can find. We order stuff for my actual job. My company orders stuff from there all the time, and it usually gets there pretty fast. But that's a good place to find that, or check eBay. I'm sure eBay there's stuff out there's steel on there you can buy. I've actually bought 1095 blade steel off eBay and made a knife out of it, and it worked great. So don't be afraid of that. But pretty much find something round that you can get the radius on either side of your palm, like this. And then, like I said, once you find the middle point, cut that off, and then start over here, and then start doing the same thing and rolling it over. If you mess up once or twice, it's okay. I mean, the steel's not that expensive. I think this piece was like $5. So if you can afford to lose $5 in a deal, it doesn't turn out to be that bad. I am going to do some more tips on stuff like this because I'm getting more and more people asking me how I actually make these things and showing examples. So I'm going to start doing a little bit more of that because I don't really have a lot of time to make anything new. I can pretty much just show a lot of stuff because I'm so busy. But my next video is going to be the kaginawa video, and I'm going to do a long video on that, explaining where you can get all the parts for it, how I did everything, where you can buy everything, how much everything cost. You know, I'm not going to leave anything untalked about. So it is probably the most expensive thing I've ever made. So that might discourage some people from making their own, but it is expensive. So that's about it. Hopefully these short little tips helped you out. If you got any other questions about anything I've made and how I made it, or where to get steel, or where to get material, like I always say, feel free to ask. So that's about it until this weekend when I do the kaginawa video. That'd be about it.